What's good, everybody? Time for a DL short. As you know, I'm always out looking at content, checking stuff up. You guys know I'm an avid fan of Valuetainment and all of their content creators over there. Shout out to PBD and the whole fam. So recently, Sebastian Gorka was on PBD's podcast. So here's a clip of Sebastian's take on what's going on in Ukraine. And let's check this out right now.
I wrote a piece on my Substack as soon as the war came out. You can check it. I haven't changed my opinion then. I remember the good old days when conservatives hated KGB colonels and thought Russia invading other countries was bad. I remember those days. The idea today that, oh, he's a champion of the West and he's a Christian. You mean the same guy who persecuted Christians when he was a uniform-wearing member of the KGB? What about the biolabs? Oh, who built the biolabs? The Soviet Union built the biolabs. That's interesting. And then the question that, well, we shouldn't help them because Ukraine's corrupt. That's the dumbest one. Is DC corrupt? Do you think Biden's corrupt? If you do, does that mean China can just invade and roll their tanks down Pennsylvania Avenue? This is wrong.
I agree with him. I agree with him there. And hold on before anybody starts screaming at me. You know, like DL's done went off the far right end. No, I haven't. I can agree and I can dig what this brother is saying. I remember the days when communists were bad. Everything about Russia was bad. KGB has always been the bad guy, at least in my life. That was what was going on. We understood these things, right? We would read the newspaper, people would discuss it. Even politicians, the left and the right, they all agreed, like, well, you know, the KGB is bad. It was a Cold War. They were the bad guys, right? I remember those days. Now, I'm not that old. Now, he's going to go on to say some stuff that I question, but that's fine. That is fine. That is the whole purpose of dialogue and being able to put it through the think tank. This is how it's supposed to work. Simply because you agree with someone on one part of something doesn't mean you agree with everything they've ever said, everything they will say, everything they've ever said in the past. No. You have to be able to think it through. So let's continue.
Simplest way to understand it, corruption up the yazoo or not, is this. This man is a bully. He's a bully who said for 20 years, since he became president, he's been giving lectures how Ukraine, how Poland, how the Baltic states are illegitimate, have no right to exist as independent states. Go back to school. Go back to when you're 10-year-old. What happens to the bully if he doesn't get challenged? What happens? He keeps on bullying. When does he stop bullying? When you give the bastard a bloody nose. We're helping.
Facts. You getting bullied by somebody, bro. If you don't stand up for yourself, you don't do something to that bully, he gonna keep bullying. That's how it works, people. I agree with that too. Let's continue.
The Ukrainians give this guy a bloody nose. And to the last thing about this Tucker Carlson kind of who cares about the world, pull down the shutters on the Pacific and the Atlantic, screw them all. If 1776 means something to you as an American, let me remind you that without the French, the Dutch, and the Spanish, this would still be part of the British Empire. Period. End of story. If the French hadn't blockaded the British, if the Dutch and the Spanish hadn't bankrolled Washington, meaning General Washington, we never would have won. This is their 1776. So if it means something to you, if our Revolutionary War means something, us helping other people fight their 1776, it should mean something to you as well. So,
and again, I'm with him 100% on all this. You go back to the Revolutionary War. All of Great Britain's enemies were funneling money and resources in men, in the case with the French. Soldiers, ships, material, bullets, band-aids, and bombs to the Americans, the Americas, like the rebels. And that's how America got its independence. Great Britain was the most fearsome military machine on the planet, just like America is today. That was Great Britain back then. And the only way that America was able to gain its independence, the only way America is here today is because of those countries, in particular France. He's 100%. They gave the Americans, soldiers, the American people, the money and the muskets, right, and the bullets to fight Great Britain. And that's how it works. So that's what he's talking about. So what's going on now? America is giving Ukraine what it needs to defend itself to fight off the Russian bully. Again, I'm with you. Up until this point, I'm with you.
No apologies to people I've pissed off. Ukraine has a right to be independent. The Kremlin are a bunch of bastards, and we should help them fight for themselves. Not deploy the 82nd Airborne. I'm not interested in dumb wars and us fighting other people's wars. They should fight their wars, and we should help them. End of story.
How much heat do you catch from having this opinion? I mean, this.
So I'm with him. I'm with him all the way up until this point. Now he's going to go in and talk about some stuff that's going to kind of lose me. But because I'm not going to agree with the stuff he's about to say does not mean that I don't agree now with everything he said prior to this. And this is America's problem. America needs to learn how to think independently and think stuff through. You can have an opinion. Your opinion doesn't have to be the exact same as mine, right? We cool. You can sit back and we can discuss our views and still go have a beer after. I don't drink beer, so it have to be a cognac. But you get my point. America has lost the ability to do that. Why? Because our educational system sucks. And we don't know how to think anymore.
Man alive.
You're born in Hungary. You understand Soviet communism. You understand Russia relations.
I go on Banner's show every week. This is not popular with the war room hobbits and even with Steve. But
now, if you're in the Trump administration and you bring this opinion into the White House, what do you think he'll say to that?
Oh, he gets it. I mean, look, President Trump. Let's be very clear about what President Trump is. He's not an interventionist, but he's not a Tucker and isolationist. Be very clear what he did. The guy who is accused today of being a Russian asset. Do you know what we did when we found 300 Russians running around Syria? Wagner Group guys working for the Kremlin. You know what we did? He called up Mattis and he said, turn them into red mist now. Kill them.
Now, okay, this is where he starts to lose me. Now, what he's talking about is there was these Russian mercenaries in Syria, along with the Syrians, decided to attack an American asset which was protected by U.S. soldiers. They tried to attack this thing. It didn't work. He's right. They got turned to mist. They got obliterated. They never got close. And keep in mind, America and the Russians were talking. These weren't Russian soldiers. These were mercenaries. These mercenaries got lit up, just like the same mercenaries that are fighting over in Ukraine now. These were mercenaries. So he's trying to like, oh, we turned Russian soldiers into mist. No, that's not this. It was, I'm sure it was Russians in there. Probably was Uzbekistani guys in there. Probably was some former Frenchmen in there. It might have been some Americans in there. They were mercenaries. Whoever these dudes were, they were getting paid to fight for Russia. This was off the books. So what he's saying is true, but it wasn't Russian soldiers. It were mercenaries. And yeah, they did that. They did that. They made a move on American assets in Syria. I think it was some sort of oil facility or something like that. And it didn't go well for them at all. He's telling the truth. But he's trying to make it seem like Trump is this, this stoic leader who's understanding everything that's going on. I don't believe that for a minute.
Kill them all. We killed 300 Russian soldiers in Syria. No president since the revolution of 1917 has killed hundreds of Russians in wartime. We did, okay? He's not an isolationist. What happened in Syria when we saw the chemical... this is declassified now. I can talk about it. What happened when we saw the chemical weapons being pulled out of that airbase again to be used against civilians? Over chocolate cake at Mar-a-Lago, with Xi Jinping eating his chocolate cake, the president leant over and said, I just launched 52 cruise missiles on that Syrian airbase. He's not in.
And this is a problem with Trump. He linked over to who? He linked over to the leader of the Communist Chinese Party, Xi Jinping, and told him what we're doing. That's classified, bro. Like, why are you telling China what we did? If you're a boss, you're going to sit there like Barack Obama did. I'm just using Barack Obama as an example. There are major operations going on. Like we were in the midst of going to get Osama bin Laden, and Barack Obama was cracking jokes at the correspondence dinner, if I'm not mistaken. You can't be like, I just did this, and you don't lean over to the leader of the Communist Party. Don't do that. That's not cool. You're supposed to sit there and deny it. That wasn't us. Be hardcore about it. Change the subject. That's leadership. You're not supposed to be braggadocious. You know what I mean? This is, again, y'all know I'm no fan of Trump, but this is where Brother Sebastian is losing me because I'm not cool with his take on Trump's history in the White House.
interested in dumb wars. He's not interested in fighting other people's wars. But when you cross a line, we will make you extra crispy. That's President Trump. Strength through leadership, peace through strength. That is, look, one of the most powerful moments for me in the White House is I went into the Oval. It was just me and the president. And I was there to brief him on Iran, I think. And he's very sidetracked. He's sitting sideways to the Resolute desk. He's reading some documents. And out of nowhere, because I'm there to talk about the Iran deal and killing it, and he looks up and he says, Sebastian, I do not, Kim had just done something. Sebastian, I do not want to have American GIs die on the Korean Peninsula again. I mean, he just went so heavy, so fast. But if we have to go to war, we will.
I don't believe that. This is propaganda. Again, this is where Brother Sebastian is losing me. To me, this is the equivalent to Netflix doing that movie about Cleopatra, right? I mean, it's all right. I think he's using some facts and he's souping up some stuff and he's mixing it all up. I'm not believing this stuff. Honestly, I don't think Trump cares about certain things, especially Korea. I don't think he cares about Taiwan. I don't think he cares about Ukraine. He only cares about what benefits him. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? But to have me believe that Donald Trump is sitting around in the White House reading stuff. The man already said he doesn't like to read, and he's sitting here talking to his advisors and contemplating the best move on the board. I don't believe any of that, bro.
That's who he is. I don't want to, but only if it matters to our national security. That's why people don't understand who he is.
You said Trump would end the war,
24
Russia and Ukraine. 24. How will he do that?
Because Putin's afraid of him. Think about what happened.
And that right there is an outright. I don't believe that for a hot second. Putin is afraid of Trump. Putin wants Trump in office. Putin did everything he could using the KGB and all their resources to get him in office. Putin is afraid of Trump. We got to listen to the rest of this.
And after we killed 300 Russians working for the Kremlin in Syria, Putin didn't even have a press conference.
Putin didn't have a press conference because those were mercenaries. Those were guys that we need to be able to disavow them somehow. We know that they came from Russia. We understand that who was paying for that. Maybe Russia was giving Syria the money and Syria was the ones who actually, brought them in, those mercenaries. But to sit there and think that Putin's afraid of Donald Trump, come on now. I don't believe that for a hot second.
You didn't even have a press conference.
You think Putin is afraid of
Trump? Utterly.
Why is he afraid of Trump?
Because he doesn't know what Trump's going to do to him.
I'll give you an idea. CNN just announced that Putin put 500 people on a list that you can't visit Russia. I don't know if you saw that or not. Who's on the list? If you can pull this up, 500 names. Obama's on the list. John Huntsman's on the list. You remember the foreign
ambassador?
Yes, ambassador. Yeah. He's on the list. Kimmel's on the list.
Kimmel?
Colbert's on the list. A bunch of guys are on the list, but Trump's not on the list. So, who knows what this means? But this just came out a few days ago. Yeah, Obama is on the list. Obama cannot visit Russia, but Trump can. Obama, Colbert.
Yeah, I hear that. Obama and all these other people Putin don't want in Russia, but Trump can come. I thought he was afraid of Trump. Come on, Brother Sebastian. He got that wrong. And I get it. It's propaganda. Like Trump is making a run at the White House. I get it. This is one of his guys. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I get it. I truly understand. But this is where you got to put it through to your think tank, people. It doesn't make sense.
Among 500 Americans banned from going to Russia. This just came out a couple days ago.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click.
Shout out to Patrick Bet-David and everyone over at Valuetainment. Friday, June 2nd, there's a collab between Fresh and Fit and the Valuetainment entities. Is going to be at the Valuetainment Studios in Fort Lauderdale. It's a live event, guys. I'm going to be there. If you're going to be in South Florida, I'm telling you, you're going to want to come see this. This is going to be a great event. It's going to be a lot of fun. They have 3 tiers on the pricing. There's general admission, there's a middle tier, then there's a VIP tier. The VIP tier includes Q&A, drinks and cigars with all of the all of the faces from the Fresh and Fit fam and the Valuetainment fam. And it's like, I guess it's going to be like an extra event on top of it, kind of thing. Like after the event, kind of go to the cigar spot or whatever. which I think is right there in the on the platform, at the facility. But anyway, June 2nd, that's coming up in a couple weeks. Not this Friday, but a week from this Friday. I will be there. That's in Fort Lauderdale. I'm gonna be down there to support two of my favorite platforms. I hope I see you guys there. And again, Brother Sebastian was saying that Donald Trump was reading right there. That's when it lost me right there. We all know that Donald Trump don't like to read. So Donald Trump was sitting there reading. Let's keep it real, bro. Donald Trump was tweeting. He was out there doing his thing. Come on now. That's not the guy I want in the White House. Good try, Brother Sebastian. Good try trying to pump him up to look like some stoic leader, but nah, Donald Trump ain't the guy. He just isn't, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Just no. That's just me. Hey, but look, my mind is open. If someone has something out there, you want to show me something or share something with me that can back up what Sebastian was saying, that Putin is in fact afraid of Trump, that Trump is the answer, that none of this stuff will be going on if Trump were the president right now. Hey, man, send it to me. I want to check it out. So thanks for your time. This has been a pretty long DL short, but it's a DL short nonetheless. And I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.